Once upon a time, in a humble village on the outskirts of Lagos, there lived a beautiful young woman named Zainab. She came from a poor family, her parents struggling to make ends meet. Zainab dreamt of a life filled with opportunity and prosperity, yearning to escape the confines of poverty that had shackled her since childhood. With a heart full of hope, she decided to leave her village and seek greener pastures in the bustling city of Lagos. Her childhood friend, Aisha, who had already moved to the city, welcomed her with open arms. Aisha was a savvy woman who knew the ins and outs of city life. Zainab, the city can be harsh, but I'll help you find your way, she promised. However, Aisha had a different path in mind, one that Zainab had never envisioned. As Zainab settled into her new life, Aisha introduced her to a world far removed from her dreams. She was drawn into the world of nightclubs, parties, and wealthy men. Aisha explained, "You have the beauty to attract the attention of the city's elites. With your looks, you can earn a fortune." At first, Zainab hesitated, feeling uncomfortable with the idea of becoming involved in such a lifestyle. Yet, the allure of quick money and luxury proved difficult to resist. Gradually, she fell into the role, becoming known as one of the city's most high sought after companions. Men of wealth and power began to know her name, and she became a fixture in hotels and lavish parties. Despite the initial excitement, Zana felt a sense of emptiness growing within her. The wealth she acquired did not bring her happiness. Rather, it deepened her loneliness. The nights of glitz and glamour felt hollow, and she often wondered if she had traded her dignity for fleeting pleasures. One fateful evening, after a night filled with extravagance, Zainab discovered she was pregnant. Panic washed over her like a cold wave. "This baby will ruin my life," she thought, filled with resentment towards the innocent child growing inside her. She loathed the thought of being tied down, and the pregnancy became a source of shame and distress. As her body changed, Zainab withdrew from her social life. She avoided friends and stopped attending the parties where she was once the center of attention. Instead, she isolated herself in her apartment, drowning in a sea of self-pity and anger. Months passed, and the weight of her choice bore down on her. Finally, when the pregnancy reached its end, Zainab made a heart-wrenching decision. In the dead of night, she wrapped the new baby in a soft cloth and placed her in a basket. With tears in her eyes, she left the basket outside an orphanage, hoping to rid herself of the burden she believed the child represented. As fate will have it, a mad woman named Mama Nkechi, was wandering the streets nearby. Hearing the baby's cries, she felt a pang of compassion and rushed to the orphanage. She took the child, cradling her gently in her hands. "You'll be my little one," Mama Nkechi murmured. And this began an unconventional yet profound relationship. Mama Nkechi lived in an abandoned building, often viewed as a nuisance by the community. But in her madness, she found purpose. She nurtured the baby girl, whom she named Amara, providing her with love despite her own struggles. Amara grew under Mama Nkechi's care, receiving whatever scraps of food they could find as they begged on the streets. As the years passed, Amara thrived, her spirit unbroken by her unusual upbringing. However, as she approached her 8th birthday, questions began to surface. "Mama Nkechi," she would ask, "where is my real mother? Why don't I have a home like other children?" Mama Nkechi will respond, "I am your mother, dear. I love you, and that is what matters. Yet, Amara found it difficult to believe her. The children in the neighborhood teased her mercilessly, calling her the daughter of a mad woman, further deepening a sense of isolation and confusion. Hamara's childhood was a blend of love and hardship. Despite Mama Nkechi's best efforts, they often struggled for food. One day, a kind-hearted stranger noticed their plight and decided to help them. This person rented a small, tidy room for them and provided assistance for Mama Nkechi's mental health issues. With a stable home, Amara flourished, but she could not shake a desire to know her real mother. As she turned 18, the yearning became unbearable. I must find her, she declared, determined to uncover the truth of her origins. Amara embarked on a journey through Lagos, a city both vibrant and harsh. With every inquiry, she faced obstacles, but her resolve remained unshaken. Finally, after weeks of searching, she discovered that her mother, Zainab, was living in a lavish house, surrounded by wealth, but suffering from a terminal illness. Upon her arrival, Amara felt a mix of emotions: fear, anger, and curiosity. She knocked on the door, and a servant led her to Zainab's room. The woman she met was a shadow of her former self, frail and sickly. Yet, despite her condition, the beauty that once captivated men still lingered in her eyes. "Who are you?" Zainab asked weakly. Suspicion clouding her gaze, Amara hesitated before speaking, her heart racing. "I am your daughter," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I was left at the orphanage, and Mama Nkechi raised me." Zainab's expression shifted from confusion to shock. You, you are alive?" she murmured, the realization dawning upon her. "I thought I had lost you forever." But instead of feeling joy, Amara felt a surge of anger. "You abandoned me. You rejected me even before I was born," she shouted, her voice filled with hurt. "How can you expect me to forgive you?" Zainab's eyes filled with tears, and she tried to explain. "I was scared, Zainab. I didn't want that life for you. I was a fool." But Amara was not ready to hear her mother's excuses. Days passed, and Zainab's health continued to decline. A pastor was brought in to pray for her healing, but he made a grave statement: "Only your daughter's forgiveness can save you." This struck Amara like a thunderbolt. She felt trapped between anger and compassion. Her heart turned in two. In her soul, Amara wrestled with her feelings. She couldn't forget the pain of abandonment, the years spent in a makeshift home with a woman deemed mad by society. "You rejected me from the very start," she said. "I can't forgive you for that. Mama Nkechi loved me in her madness, and I owe my life to her." As the days turned to weeks, Zainab's condition worsened. The luxurious home filled with wealth became a prison of regrets. Hamara visited regularly, but their conversations were often fraught with tension. She longed for closure but couldn't let go of her anger. One day, after another painful encounter, Hamara left Zainab's house. Her heart heavy, she wandered the streets, reflecting on her journey. Despite the anger that consumed her, she couldn't shake the feeling of loss for the mother she had never known. As she walked past the orphanage, memories flooded back of Mama Nkechi's gentle hands, her warm voice, and her unwavering love. That night, a wave of sadness watched over Amara as she lay in bed. "What is forgiveness?" she pondered. "What is forgiveness again? Can I forgive someone who never wanted me? No, I can't. I hate that woman with passion. I wish she wasn't my mother, but I'm happy I have a mother in Mama Nkechi." Weeks later, Zainab's health took a turn for the worse. Amara received a call informing her that her mother was in critical condition. Struggling with her emotions, she rushed to Zainab's side, only to find her mother frail and weak, fighting for every breath. Zainab, Zainab whispered, her voice barely audible. I love you. I always have, but I was just afraid. I couldn't live the life I was having. You were like a distraction and an obstacle. I had to leave you away, but I now realize better. Amara's heart ached at her mother's sincerity. In that moment, she saw not just the moment who had abandoned her, but a broken soul seeking redemption. As tears streamed down her face, Amara realized that holding on to anger only chained her to the past. I forgive you, she finally managed to say, her voice trembling, but it will take time for me to heal. Zena's eyes sparkled with gratitude. Thank you, my love, she whispered before slipping into unconsciousness. Hamara felt a sense of release. She had taken the first step towards healing, not just for her mother, but for herself. Days later, Zena passed away, leaving behind a wealth and a note that expressed her regret for the choices she had made. Amara was heartbroken, but felt a strange sense of peace. She chose to honor her mother's memory by not dwelling on the past, but by focusing on the future. With the inheritance left for her, Amara made a decision to help Mama Nkechi. She brought her to a hospital and was treated well. Mama Nkechi regained her mental health. She was very okay. She went back to the house they got for them, and Amara gave half of the wealth to the orphanage and used half to start a business for Mama Nkechi. She went back to school, although she missed her mother every day, but she was happy that at last she could do something better for her. What do you learn from this story? Please share your comments, subscribe, and always click on the notification button as the new story is dropping soon. Thank you very much.